Welcome to the Divine Quotient podcast. Around here, we go way beyond small talk. We're talking soul to soul with truth, purpose, and what it means to live a spirit-led life. I'm Tilde, the creator of the Divine Quotient. Get ready for real stories, deep laughs, and those aha moments that light you up from the inside out. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Divine Quotient podcast. Around here, we go way beyond small talk. We're talking soul to soul with truth, purpose, and what it means to live a spirit-led life. I'm Tilde, the creator of the Divine Quotient method. Get ready for real stories, deep laughs, and those aha moments that light you up from the inside out. My guest today is my dear friend Taryn Andersen. She's president of Impulse for Women, creating tech ecosystems and bringing more women to the investment field. One of its main goals is to bring more women in to start investing. She is also Investor Relations Director at THCAP Venture Capital and jury member at the EIC Acceleration Program. Welcome, Taryn.
Hello, Tilde. Thank you very much for inviting me to your podcast.
Oh, I'm super excited to have you on. I was thinking about before you and I started talking behind the scenes about how long we've known each other. I think we met, we met when this was just an idea for you, I think, right?
It was an idea. You were in Barcelona. Someone connect us.
Yeah.
When a friend from Madrid connect us, and then we met, and we started together. Then I follow you to Zagreb. You came back to Barcelona, and we have been meeting each other and crossing paths since 2017, I think. Yeah.
I even think it may have been before that a little bit. So I don't know. Maybe. I have no idea. Anyway, it's been a long time. I thought it was over 10 years, and I thought, oh my gosh, now I can call you an old friend. So tell people just a little bit about Impulse for Women, how you came up with this idea, because your background is in investment banking, right? Or in the banking industry. So tell people a little bit about how and why you made that transition to do what you're doing now.
Well, actually, it was serendipity because I moved from the private banking to a venture capital. They were fundraising for the second fund. Today, we are in the fund fifth. And 1 year, that was in 2016. And in 2017, we were seeing some pitches and some startups. We were doing a networking event. We were at a networking event with some investors, and they offered me the possibility to become general partner of the second fund. Then I was like, at the beginning, the question was, we would like you to be our GP for the second fund. And I was like, oh, yes, sure. Then I moved forward to my friends, female woman investors, and I asked them what this means to be a GP. So here was like a big surprise when they said that there was only 4 women in 2017 in Spain that they were general partners of funds. So all the questions are starting from there, like why there are not more women in the venture capital ecosystem. And the second question was why the women, they were pitching differently to investors compared to males. So it was a lot of questions. There was not a real or clear reply for that. Today we can talk about it, but not but then. And this is why we decided to build Impulse for Women with 2 missions: to support woman, female, woman-led tech startups, founders, co-founders, C-level, and also to bring more women to start investing into the tech ecosystem. It's an economic opportunity cost for the startups to have women due to our mindset. The way that we approach business is completely different to the way that male does it. And it's proven with data that those startups that they are mixed with men and women, they are having much more revenues and they're growing much more quicker and faster.
So explain a little bit what is the mindset difference that a woman brings to a startup or to even investing, let's say. What's different, or what have you noticed and experienced? Because you're an investor too. not only a startup but also an investor. So what is the difference between the two mindsets that you've noticed?
For startups, when a woman is approaching business, it's much more long term, and it needs to be much more secure of everything is under control before sitting in front of an investor. Besides, they're very realistic with also with the cash flows. Normally, they do not get an extra budget for attorneys or for insurance or things like that. Or if they need to fire someone, they don't even think about that. They are going just so adjusted to reality that you need to ask them, hey, please put 10% over your budget just in case of miscellaneous, just in case to have a proper cash flow done for the next 18 months. And another thing that it's also very, I don't know exactly why a woman is so much adverse to risk compared to a male, which it makes that the moment that they want to go to see an investor, first they're more secure, as I said previously, but at the same time, it takes longer time, and they are they prefer to get off a huge percentage of equity in one round than going every year for 5% of the equity. Uh, it's funny the way that they approach this. Yes, normally, for example, a male will take. I will validate my company for 1 million this year. I will only take 5%. I'm going to go for investors for this 5%. No? And next year I will go for another 5%, but my company will be validated 2 millions. Year three, my company will be 3 millions. And the woman is coming, okay, the valuation of my company is 1 million, but I don't care. As long as they give me $300,000 for that, I'm done. No?
Yeah.
Yes. But
Very different. That's so different though, right?
wow. Another very important thing when I'm showing how to invest and also talking to startups of how to present their company to investors, there's something that you will it's being repeated, doesn't matter which part of the wall are coming from, like their salaries are super low. And I'm like, okay, imagine that you need to go for 3 months to another country and someone have to take care about the company for that time. You don't have in your cash flow a normal salary, so you cannot replace it. So then they start to think about how important it is to put, not even for them. I do it in both sides. One is like, okay, if there is a problem, who's going to be in your position? Because then you will not be able to hire anyone because you didn't put your a normal salary in the budget, which is something that you have to do it since the first day. It's true that also there are a lot of investors that they are asking, if you don't put your normal salary, I don't want you. That could be one of the reasons, but this is a reality, and a woman used to tend to put a lower salary than the normal one that it could be in the market. Just like thinking like, okay, it's my baby, I want to bring it out, but you have to bring it out also with the real salary. It's very
Hmm.
important.
Yeah. So one of the things that I remember really noticing when you and I first talked, and I was dumbfounded by the statistics on this, is that, you know, not only the amount of women that were actually getting investors to invest in their companies, but also the amount of women that actually had the confidence to pitch, right? Because it wasn't necessarily a shortage of events that were happening or hackathons
Mhm.
that were happening, but it was the number of women that were actually showing up to those hackathons and pitch fests. And so I'm just curious, have you seen an increase in that from 2017 to now, or is it still uh, uh, a challenge to have more women involved in these hackathons and pitch fests?
It's okay. The number of women that started to build up their own startup, it has become like 10x, 20x. I cannot even give you a certain number, but it has been like crazy. So this is a very good news. At the end, going back to your question, woman prefers to have a one-to-one meeting with an investor than pitching in front of a lot of people. So they feel much more comfortable to get in front of the investor with a coffee and little by little start to explain. For sure, I think that here is also a red flag, because I think that investors should, 98% of the investors are males. So here we have communication difference. They are expecting to have someone super passionate coming over and explaining very quickly and a lot of passion, and sometimes it's just a little idea. Woman wants a little coffee, give me 30 minutes and let me go little by little to try to make it. So at the end of the day, it's nice if women could go a little bit more like the males are doing it, the pitch, and at the same time also from the investors, normally are, in general terms, are males. They should understand that women, they're pitching completely different, and this, it doesn't mean that it's good or not. It's just that please sit down and just change your head. That's it. You're now with a woman, and she's going to explain you, because probably the project that she's bringing is much more successful, as she's much more secure, and she's bringing already a mature project, much more mature project than sometimes males.
Right. So put your investor hat on now. And so if I, as a woman startup, were to come to you and want to pitch my company to you, and 30 minutes later or an hour later, I'm meeting with a male investor, is there a difference in the way that I would pitch to you as a woman investor versus the male investor?
It will be. Yes, for sure. It's completely different. Male is going straight to the point very quickly, and then give me all ask me what you want to know about my project. And woman is taking much more longer time to explain you. Also depends of the investor also if they have time or not. But mainly woman is asking questions and also giving a little bit of feedback, which a male investors could not give you any feedback, just make you questions, and when they are ended, they say, which is the normal way to proceed. Huh? That doesn't mean that it have to be like that. We can also switch it. Actually, the other day, a startup asked me, woman, she asked me if she could make a training for investors of how to listen to woman pitches. It's a little bit difficult. I mean, so
how did that work out?
But this is another question mark that we should explore, because how come are you going to say someone that has the power in one way or another one and have the time to give you? Yeah, so different positions, different roles, but it's true. I think that in general terms, male investors should know that women are pitching completely different, and it's like not. It's just be calm and sit down and enjoy the coffee and the project, and what are they going to explain you.
And in my experience and you're right, I mean, the difference between sitting down with a male investor versus a female investor has been drastically different for me. And although some male investors, I will say, have taken more of a mentor position as well, in that they have provided me feedback at the same time, where others have just been bomb, 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 right? And they're on to the next idea. So it's really interesting. And then also, I think some women who have been an investor for a long time also have that male mentality, right?
I have it.
Boom, boom, boom. This is what I'm looking for. If you're not a fit, then on to the next idea, because they're looking at so many different startups, right? And investment opportunities that they really don't have time to 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 decide, right? I mean, they already know what the parameters are for themselves, and if you don't fit those parameters, then they're on to the next thing. So how
It's
can you go ahead? Sorry.
the, I think that startups should add on the pitching session on the roadmap of pitching to set up also a networking. Networking is coming with a personal relationship. And for an investor, it's much more nicer to meet you in a cocktail. Don't go and pitch them because maybe you don't know if he or her was talking to a friend about holidays and you're coming in the middle. You're spoiling the wine that it was also someone that had all day hearing a lot of pitches and a lot of things, and they wanted to have like a calm and relaxed time. So in from a human perspective, you will take much more from an investor starting talking about mm, I don't know, it will flow. It
Yeah.
will flow of
Hmm.
what are you doing and are you living here? Are you going and trying to go in more in a person from a personal perspective and try to build a relationship. And the best thing is to start to build this relationship before you need the funding.
Right, exactly. And I love that you brought that up, because that's been one thing that has really helped me in my networking is, I think what you're referring to is just finding a commonality, right? If they like tennis, start talking about tennis. Like, find that one thing or three things. If they enjoy travel or they just came from somewhere that you've been, ask them how they liked it, to actually be engaging and building a relationship. Um, and that commonality actually creates more of a bond, I would say, and kind of relaxes the atmosphere a lot better than if we just simply go in there and start pitching, right? And asking for what we need and all that. I think that's kind of a turnoff, even for me as an investor too, is like, if somebody was to come to me and say, hey, would you mind giving me some feedback on this, versus knowing that they're wanting to pitch me, that's a totally different environment and openness that I have to listening and wanting to play mentor to someone. Don't you think?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I, Literally, you can see who doesn't have a zero EQ because they really just see you. They see that you're an investor and they start pitching you, and you cannot even get a glass of water because they follow you on. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not investing in your field. I have nothing to do with crypto. But that meant that it was on stage. He was talking about that, and the woman over there also. And I was in the same public. I mean, I was hearing the same panels as him, and I was like, please try to develop also your EQ because
Hmm.
you're sure your project could be super good, but you also have to go to sell, and the first sell that you're doing is to an investor. So an investor and a client at the end of the day are the same because you receive money from them as a investment for your round, or you have to make incomes with your company. So I think that also here's another component, Tilde. I don't know if you agree or not with me. If you are really looking for money because your cash flow is gone, the way in your subconscious, when you're saying an investor, you cannot, it's going out from one side or another one, your intensity or your need to talk to them to see if they will be able or would like to receive their pitch and to check it over. And when you're not needing the money, is the perfect timing to develop and build these relations. This is why I always recommend. I mean, if you're in an event and you are looking for a business angels round, $300,000 for fundraising. I mean, even though that you see a Series A that they're giving tickets of 5 million, go over there and talk to them, because in one day, maybe they can give you some, as you said, like some opinion or feedback or little things or references that it will help you a lot. And people doesn't remember sometimes of what we were talking, as you said, but you remember that it was nice to talk to that person.
Right.
That's the thing that we remember.
Well, and what has happened to me too when I approach things like that and just having a lunch and really sincerely wanting their advice. Um, and and going at it from that perspective, I have found that they then offer, or they get to know me and they ask me what I'm working on, and then I'm able to tell them when I've helped other startups in fundraising, right? I'm able to tell them what projects I'm working on, and then they become curious, and then I find them traveling with me to go and meet with the startup founders, right? Because it's that it flows very easily, and it's not anything forced. It's just a genuine curiosity for me of what they're doing, and started in tennis, right? So the conversation started about tennis, and then it naturally flows into something else. But I think you're absolutely right when it comes to uh, startups being sort of in this desperate mode, right? Survival mode, and not having the cash flow, because that changes the energy completely, because then it's like they're trying to grasp and following people around around an event trying to survive. So I totally agree with you with that. It's like start looking for those investors when you actually still have cash flow.
And also because an investor can smell when you really are draining, and
Yes.
it's going to ask you for more in case that they want it, or maybe they want the software, or maybe they want something. So it's the way that you're unprotected from an
Yes.
investor. It's not that an investor is a Dracula, but
Predator.
sure, you also have you have also investors that they're giving you money to manage them, their
Yes.
money, and you have to give them also a feedback, and then you have also to you have every 3 months to tell them why I'm giving money to A or Z, you know. And
Mhm.
this is something that they have to also to think about it, that we were talking before. We are a little fund of 35 million, so it's not pretty big, but we receive 1,500 startups per year. So, and from there, we really analyze 80, and from 80, we invest in 4. So these are the conversions. So when we were talking like you have time or not, depends of the investor when they're listening to a pitch, if they have time, not have time, or they're also human beings. Sometimes they never have time, or sometimes they just, today is not my day, no? But
Right.
in general terms, yes, women are more, uh, pre- they have the predisposition to hear and to be more more calm and give you feedback
Hmm.
if you're pitching to her. But
Right.
we're always talking about general terms because I saw everything. I
Right.
saw really very nasty questions from a male investor and from a woman investor as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes like going to the other extreme, like you, why are you asking this? Not even a man will ask that, no?
Right.
So you got everything in every places,
Yeah,
fortunately.
I agree. I completely agree. So, what is Impulse for Women doing now? Um, because I know that you're building this ecosystem. What does the ecosystem look like now, and what is the vision that you're holding for the future?
Well, the point is that we built up and created a very big community,
Hmm.
and we have 13,000 startups worldwide. We move from, not all of them are fundraising, and our point was, how are we going to get our business model from there, no? And one point was, okay, let's gonna charge to the community, but I think that there are so many communities that is like very difficult to be aligned with one. And at the same time, you need to give them a lot of content. So you are working more to give them content to the community than to create their own content. So we were also giving the service to connect the startups with investors, but it was it's a lot of time consuming. And also our first vision was that we wanted to the investors to charge for that, but we didn't find out those investors that they wanted to pay for deal flow once that they receive it on their table without not getting even out of the computer. we
Right.
received the deals there. So it was like no sense for them to pay for the deal flow. And then we started to charge the startups, but we couldn't charge them very much because really they are struggling with their cash flows at the beginning specifically. So this is why we started to apply to projects and grants. So we are looking all those grants that we like them, then we apply, and if we are eligible, what we do is we make the call out into our community. For example, if we're doing a topic for the ocean marine and we have to set up an acceleration, we're looking for startups that they're already in a minimum value product and they're going now to market, and we're going to accelerate them. So we bring in and we get in free for them. So we just turned the business model in another way. For those that they wanted to give and create ecosystem, we are like in the middle, and at the same time, our community is getting a benefit from what we're doing.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. I love how you well, because you flipped it right from the very beginning that I remember, and this makes total sense because you already have the huge community of startups that are looking for whatever information that you're looking in, whether it's investment or learning something new. And so now you just invite them to the events that are relevant to them, which makes it so much easier for you too.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah. So what about the because I know now you're also wanting to and you're having classes for women investors. So how is that what does that look like for you now and what are you looking for to grow it to in the future?
Well, the point is that like was 2023. We were thinking like, okay, we do have this huge community of women. I'm seeing a lot of projects, and I'm super happy in TH Capital, but they are investing in women and men, both actually since ever. That was not the point. Never the gender was the point. Was the project.
Right. Right.
Yes, and it makes it that I have been with them since 2016, but 30% of our portfolio since before I was with them and before I built that Impulse for Women, they were already investing in women. But I was seeing a lot of, for sure, we've got a thesis investment criteria, and I was thinking, okay, I would love to set up a fund built up from general partners, women, and investing in all this deal flow that we have already, because we already got all the startups over there. So I was looking for limited partners that wanted to invest, and I didn't found any woman. So I was like, okay. And at the same time, we started a project for the European Commission that our role as Impulse for Women was to make a research in the different countries of Europe. And it was for the venture capital landscape. So one of the questions that I added in, it was like, how many women are working in the venture capital landscape in Europe, and how many women are in taking in the investment committee taking investment decisions. So that was the drama. It was only, yeah, from the 100%, only 20% are women working at the venture capital in Europe, and only 1.8 are in the investment committee or being general partners.
That's eye-opening.
Yeah. And then mix it with the point that we wanted to build up a fund that it was focused for women, and the only investors, limited partners that they were coming to our fund were male, one from Seattle, another one from Toronto, another one from the UK, another one from Cologne. And I was like, okay, probably, I don't know if women, it's like when we started with Impulse for Women, I really didn't know. I just have there was a problem, let's gonna put a solution. So from our point of view, we've decided to start building this cohort to teach only women to invest. And we did the first cohort last year. We got like 17 women from the States, from Latam, from Europe. It was amazing because we pick up startups from our Impulse for Women deal flow, those ones that they're fundraising.
Nice.
So we teach them how to uh, learn how to invest. So today we're building this ecosystem because it's a need for the next step to arrive to the venture capital, no? But you have to start with the business angels, with little tickets. A woman likes to be very cautious. For sure, they know a lot, but until they don't have class and they realize and validate how much do they know, they're not going to jump.
Right.
And also the ticket size that a woman is comfortable with is $5,000, $10,000, even though that they have 200,000 to invest. They
Right.
are not going to, they're doing always little by little and trying. So this is the way that we are starting, and we are happy. Actually, we're going to start the second cohort, and if things are moving faster, and those grants that we have been that we have applying for, we have
Mhm.
included woman business angel cohorts to teach them.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, because there's such a transference of money and power right now for women, right? And it's been happening over several years now. But I think if we can invest in each other, that's just gonna help everything. And not that I'm anti-man in any sense of the word, but I think women supporting women is such a beautiful thing because of the collaborative spirit and the nurturing spirit that we naturally have in wanting to um, to do something, to make an impact in our own unique ways, and to finding, for me, it's finding aligned companies, right? Something that I'm passionate about, something that I value. Do you find that that's a difference sometimes too between women investors and male investors? Is that women are more focused on the social impact that a company's having?
And the woman startups as well. Woman
Mm.
startups, 70% are having, if you ask them from the UN CDG goals,
Uh-huh.
uh, at least three, four CDG goals they're covering in their projects. A normal startup. I don't even, I don't have so huge numbers for business angels
Mm-hmm.
or women investors because there are not so many. For sure, every day more and more they're coming out. I mean,
Right.
it's a matter of starting to be conscious that there's a lack, and the woman is not doing anything from that, and only we have to shut out that come over. And it's
Yeah.
super helpful for also, as I said, for a startup, because I think women we are more realistic and male are more like focusing one objective, and this plus the risk at adverse from both sides is giving a lot much more content and security to when they are going out to market with the company.
Yeah.
Really, it's much more better when they're going both.
So Nita says, not for me, it was potential. And that's awesome. Because it's not, it's, we were just saying, right, how generally, we're talking generally and not, you can't put women all in one box and men all in one box. But I love how, if you're investing for the potential of a company and not for the social impact, I think that's wonderful. It's just my experience that women are more about the alignment, like where even we have our purchase, where we're spending our money. I'm super conscious about that. I don't want to spend money on brands that aren't in alignment with me and my values now. And I think there's a shift happening, whether it's in our purchasing power or our investment power. More women and men actually are now investing more in social impact companies that are actually making a difference. Um, One more question, Taryn, on the investment side of things. Can you just briefly describe for people that may watch this or may watch the replay of this, the difference between a business angel and a venture capitalist, especially for women that are interested in investment? Can you just briefly describe the difference between the two?
The first difference, one is the moment that there's a business angel, they are they're handling more risk because they put money before, and the other one is the ticket size for the startup. Normally, venture capital, they are not investing if you don't have minimum KPIs, specifically in financials, in the commercial path or sales of the company. How far are they going and how are they making the money? And also the ticket size. The pre-seed venture capital, some of them are putting money at the same time, like family offices or business angels, and also, or some of them, they are not putting money until they don't have a minimum MRR, a monthly return revenue. That could be, I don't know, 5Ks, 10Ks the next month, and 15 months the third month. And but a venture capital never puts money in before, specifically in a seed stage. They're not going to put money if you don't have an MRR, if you don't have, you already are minimum set up in terms of a company, you already are outside, you understand a little bit how is it going. As I make an example for a seed venture capital, is like when an airplane is in the finger and it's starting to take off until they take off. So we are following the startup at that moment to see how are they making the revenues. And if we like the team, that is the first thing that we're looking, because 90% of the times of our portfolio startups that they're gone is because the team, not because the business model. But at the same time, as I said, we don't enter when they have so much high risk. So our benefits are lower than a business angel, that they for sure they have a lot of risk, and also they can lose the investment. For sure.
Right. Well, I love the point that Nita makes. She says, but it's still a risk. I lost $50,000 on my last investment. And that's so true. I mean, no matter whether it's a social impact venture that you're passionate about investing in, or just a normal company, there's always that potential risk of losing that investment. And I'm sorry you lost $50,000. that's
I'm sorry,
that's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, women normally put it at very little amounts, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's a lot. If I were a woman and I would like to start investing, I don't know. We are working very close to portfolio from the United States,
Oh,
and
awesome.
are amazing. But not only portfolio, also 35 angels with Angela Lee, that she's also teaching at Columbia University how to be at the venture capital. And as I said, for me, they're not competitors, because there are so few women investing that I'm super happy to tell you who are the other ones that they're doing the same. Also, Nassim in New York. I can't remember the name of her fund, because I just remember her, but she got a very big fund right now, and they started with little tickets of $5,000, $10,000, and now they got like a pretty big fund, the third one. Yeah, and there's a lot of women in the US. Specifically, you started much more earlier than in Europe.
Right.
So this is why also you're much more mature in that sector. But I think that if you want to start to invest, I will really recommend it to go with these groups, that you don't have to put a lot of money, and you're learning at the same time that your hands doing, no? Because
Yeah.
there are committees, you learn over there, and then you can put more money in case by your own, if you like it, because it's coming another round and they decided if they wanted to come in or not. Also, the venture capital is another option, but then you're not leading the decision of investing or not, because it's going to be the
Right.
venture capital who is doing it. And also, for being an LP in a venture capital, I don't know the minimum ticket size in the US, but I guess it must be like around 100,000 or 200Ks. So the ticket size is much more larger, but at the same time also it's more secure. For sure, venture
Right.
capital is not it's not a stable fund.
Right.
It's a fixed income. For sure not, but it's less risky than going as a business angel. And at the same time, if you want to learn as a business angel, which I really recommend it, I will go with this type of organizations that they are already have also a track record. They're doing super good, and you also have a community there. That
Mm-hmm.
the best thing of the community is that I don't know how many women do they have in portfolio. I know here in Europe it was one, but it was 300 women, and when they get a deal of gaming, there was the president of gaming from Turkey was over there, so she was also being part of the investment committee of investing or not, because she could give her know-how from their sector, you know.
Right. Right.
And that's the nice thing of also. I also want to point that woman is very good at working in community.
Yeah. No, I
So
totally agree. And it's been, I remember going to the first event Portfolio had here in Dallas, where they were inviting people. I got to meet, I can't remember her name,
Trish,
the
Trish Costello.
yes, Trish Costello. And I got to meet her. And then Marsha Daywood was also part of that, who's a friend of mine who was part of the initial team to help her launched that. And so it has just been really, really exciting to see how they've grown that community, because I think the buy-in for that is $10,000. So it's really low for people that have that kind of money, and aren't, and if you have $100,000, but you kind of want to get the sense of it, people have been making some really beautiful investments with them, and their companies are thriving. I mean, they've picked some really great companies, and they do their due diligence in in finding the right deals for the women in that community. So I'm glad that you brought them up, because there are numerous communities here in the U.S. where people can invest and actually learn as they're investing. Right? They actually have those classes and courses for people, because not every deal is going to be right for me. What's right for me may not be right for you, and so they're really being diligent about having those classes for women to show them how to invest and what to look for in a good deal. So that's exciting.
Yep,
So
and I really recommend it because I think that also it's set up from the woman investment mindset.
hmm
So,
absolutely.
mhm.
So is there anything else that you want to tell people about the year that's coming up for you, how they can get involved? Or I know you're always having events, you're always traveling, so I'm happy that I caught you in Barcelona.
No, but it's a little bit difficult because we are not like following the community and sending a lot of emails because. But normally, when people want to be part of, they register themselves, and when we're doing something for investors, we just call the investors. When we're doing things for startups, for the health tech, we just look for those ones in health. And as I said, as we are applying to projects to develop, we're always searching those people that we think that they will be involved and they would like to be involved as well.
Okay.
So we are community because we try to give benefits to all the time to the community without not asking them anything. So
Yeah. Well, beautiful.
yeah,
So the best thing to do is for them to go to the website then, and I'll put it in the comments for people on LinkedIn and the other platforms as well, so that they can just, all they have to do is register on your website.
yes,
Okay. Okay,
and
perfect.
that's if something is coming up that they are could be in. Well, we will we share with them the what are we explaining
hmm
or the project or maybe sometimes as someone is asking me, can you help me to detect those ones, and we are happy to do it. That's the way that we still maintaining our nonprofit soul, you know.
hmm
But
Yeah.
yep.
Okay, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was great catching up with you before. And so just want to thank everybody for joining us and for the questions and for the engagement. Really appreciate you and the comments that you made today. And if you want to learn more about Taryn and Impulse for Women, just go to impulseforwomen.org. That is the website, and I'll be sure and put that in the comments. Have an amazing week.